It's time for some Puffball platforming action in Kirby's Dream Land. Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Red, and yeah, I'm playing Kirby's Dream Land, the game that marks Kirby's big debut, Kirby the Pink Puffball as we know him. Although when you look at the North American and European box art, Kirby very much is white instead of pink like he's supposed to be. But we'll get more on that later, but yeah, I kinda just had the urge to play this after I had finished Kirby's Dream Land 2 recently, and I said, you know what, I just want to revisit this, because it's a lot of fun for the classic that it is. But I know I definitely don't need to explain Kirby at all. I mean, been around for 32 years. But I suppose for those who happen to see this who are not too familiar, so this game and the series in general for the most part is 2D side-scrolling platformers, although there are some Kirby games that play in 3D, or there are spin-offs of slightly different genres. But yeah, this one was... Kirby series is developed by HAL Laboratory, and Kirby was specifically created by Masahiro Sakurai, who we also know for Smash Bros, because HAL actually also developed Smash 64 and Smash Bros Melee. All the rest of the games were other companies, well, a different one. But now when he was making this game, he had the idea that he wanted to make a game that was easily approachable. It was simple by design, so anyone could pick it up and play it. But it also did have something a little more advanced for players that they wanted to take on a challenge, because it does have a second mode to it. But anyways, without any further ado, let's just get started with this. But just to go over the plot a bit, not that it's really important, but King Dedede and his minions have stolen all the magical sparkling stars and the food. So Kirby has set out to take it all back. So let's go and do that. Stage 1, Green Greens, which is probably one of the most iconic stages in the game, and actually this game has been referenced so many times in later titles. So I know like Kirby Star Allies has an entire level where it has the old color scheme that we see. And I know like Kirby Superstar had completely redone like Kirby's Dream Land. It has a sub-game segment that is basically Kirby's Dream Land, just different. But yeah, being a platformer, this game plays like you normally would with platformers, but for a time it was slightly different because Kirby can float. So this more or less negates a lot of the stage hazards. So that definitely shakes it up compared to what we normally saw with like Super Mario Brothers and other games. And once again, it was designed to be easy and anyone could play it, but we'll just move right over here and we can fight Poppy Bro Sr. Yeah, and this is actually, I guess for those who happen to see this who are probably a little more familiar with later Kirby games, there are no copy abilities in this. And that's, of course, it was the first game, so it just wasn't a concept. So all you can do is inhale and spit out puffs of air, or inhale and spit out enemies in the form of a star. Because that's what Kirby does to people. He just eats them, they become stars. Or they get regurgitated. So, oh god, look out. Yeah, no, so this is slightly... It's a lot different compared to what a lot of the later Kirby games were. And the way you have to approach this, it's by no means, I can definitely say, a hard game. Because it really isn't unless you're playing the extra mode, which I'll be covering that at another point. But it does force you to kind of approach it in a much different manner because you don't have copy ability, so you can't just kind of run through everything like I remember doing in other games. You have to be a little more patient with this. So it's just interesting like that. Granted, it was the first game, but anyways, we'll move right on in here to the first boss, Wispy Woods, the boss that reoccurs the most throughout the Kirby series. So, very iconic. It's a tree, he can spit out puffs of air, he drops apples for you to inhale and spit back at him. And if we had copy abilities, he would be absolutely decimated right now. Makes me think of a Kirby 64, Kirby Nightmare and Dreamland. You can have him destroyed in just seconds. But anyway, it's our first sparkling star. And now we dance. Stage 2, Castle Lololo. Kirby sneezes and now he's in the water. He's in the drink. Alright, so Castle Lololo is an interesting one. And it's a maze. There's several doors we can go through. We have to find our way to the end of the stage to fight the boss. Like I should mention, there are 5 stages to go through, each one having a boss, although the last stage is pretty much a boss gauntlet. You know, this is an interesting one because Lololo, the name is actually a reference to a character from one of HAL Laboratories' other game series that they made, known as, goes by 2 names. The one in Japan is, was it Egerland? And in America it was known as Adventures of Lolo, which is a series of puzzle games, and the main characters in there were Lolo and Lala. And speaking of which, we're coming up on Lolo right now, but Lololo is just... The characters actually look the same as they do in the game, in their own game, just the name has changed. But it's a puzzle game that involves pushing blocks, and that's exactly what Lolo does, as I get absolutely smacked by it. So you just gotta inhale them, spit them back out, but... No, it's... I love it when, like, developers have, like, a little crossovers with other series. Like, in some way or form, and in this game it just happens that they put in characters from, another one of their games. And they actually also appear in the animated series Kirby Right Back at You, which is where I was kind of first introduced to them. I mean, I had played this as a kid. It was actually the second Kirby game I ever played in my life. The first one being Kirby 64, so... Oh, shoot. So, what I grabbed there was the spicy curry. Now now I'm moving fast, I'm flashing, and I spit out puffs of air. But, yeah. So it's just a really nice touch to see that. And of course, back there earlier, there was a question mark block and it spawned a maximum tomato. So this game does have some secrets to it. And of course, many of the Kirby games would eventually have like one of the biggest secrets is, of course, the secret HAL rooms. But this game doesn't have too much. But it does have a couple rooms that'll show off. Anyways, here we have the actual boss, Lololo and Lalala. So the bosses each have 6 hit points, but these ones, they share health bar, so it's just 3 and 3. So, yeah, you just gotta inhale the blocks, avoid them, then just shoot it right back at them. Alright. I mean, funny enough, I actually did play Adventures of Lolo, like, recently, and I tried it out, I'm like, wow. This isn't bad. I had to really sit and play the game more, but it actually was quite fun for what it was. That's another magical star, and now we dance again. Alright, stage 3, Float Islands. He's got the fish. And now he's got himself. Oh, that can't feel good, but luckily Kirby's stretchy, so... That shouldn't be too bad on him, but... Alright, also another interesting thing on... Oh my god, I'm gonna spit that out and use it. Okay. Actually, since I mentioned before that basically the entirety of Kirby's Dream Land was remade in Kirby Superstar, also Superstar Ultra for the DS, the remake of that game, in the form of a little sub-game known as Spring Breeze. It's actually shortened because they combine stages 2 and 3. Basically, they keep Float Islands, but they combine Castle Lololo with it. And they do bring back the characters as like an actual mid-boss, and then you fight the actual boss of Stage 3 here in it. So yeah, it's just one thing they decided to do, which is actually quite nice. I'm pretty sure Kirby's Dream Land might be one of the most referenced ones. This game is probably one of the most referenced in the later games in the series. But... Oh, avoid the coconuts. Yeah, no, we're just zooming through this. There really isn't much to it. Oh, but of course that can change depending on how I play, because, like I said, you gotta be... You have to approach this much differently. You can't just necessarily zoom through it. You do want to be a bit patient. But... Alright, almost on the way there. So, I actually, now that I can talk about it, since I almost forgot. So I mentioned before how Kirby's color scheme, like, he appears... Oh god, I'm getting blasted. Oh, no wonder that's the slowdown that's getting me. More spicy curry. So, actually we're coming up here. So, when you're under the effects of spicy curry, you can actually cancel out. This is the only point where you can do that when you touch water. Yeah, it's interesting. It stops right there. It's actually a nice little attention to detail that they would even put that in. Because normally some games just kind of throw some logic out the window and they just keep things as are, like how in Mario you can shoot fireballs underwater. Not that I'm complaining, but Alright, here we go. Warp Star. And it's a whale! And we're gonna get blasted into the sky, but... Now, I mentioned how Kirby appears white in the North American and European box art because... there was some debate over Kirby's color design, and by the time they got localized outside of Japan, they didn't settle on a color, so... They just left him white in order to kind of just play it safe, but it would be corrected in all the games afterwards. It's actually the only game where that happens. Anyways, here we have, we picked up what was known as a mint leaf, kind of a rare item that gives you unlimited puffs. It's a special item. And here we're fighting the boss known as Kabula. So I'm just gonna wait to destroy her quick, so I can talk about her, but... So yeah, it's... Kabula is a boss that only appeared in... this game and another game, I think it was Kirby... I think it was Kirby Block Ball. Afterwards, Kabula would not appear in another Kirby game until Kirby Superstar Ultra and then Kirby Planet Robobot. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to think about how there's so many characters that were gone for so long, but then they come back, which is great to see. Because I already mentioned that Wispy Woods is the most reoccurring, but actually the boss of Stage 4 here, Krako, is another reoccurring one too. Anyway, Stage 4, Bubbly Clouds, because the whale shot us up into the clouds where we would fight Kabula. And of course, it just ties right in here to, oh dear, Stage 4. Scarfies are not fun. They are so volatile in this game. I mean, they're dangerous in all the games, but, being the first game, they really are not good to deal with. Ugh. Then, of course, we got Waddle-Doo and Waddle-Dees on parasols. And I should also mention, since Kirby's color was so undecided at its time, Kirby was also just, his design that we see now was just a placeholder for a while. And he didn't even go by the name Kirby either. I think he went by, what was it, Twinkle Popo or Popopo, something like that. So, but of course, Sakurai, I like how his design, he kind of grew fond of it, kind of grew on him. So he said, you know, we'll keep it. I mean, it's a simple design. Alright, Sir Cutter, if I could take your boomerang, that would be great. Alright, moving right in here. Actually, right over here, we're actually coming up, right on a secret door, actually. Actually, the first one in this stage. There's actually two in this one. Because I mentioned before how most of the Kirby games have, hidden doors or areas you can go to. But right here, we drop down another mint leaf. I'm pretty sure this actually did not appear in any other Kirby games, unless it was just a reference to others. But I know the Spicy Curry actually makes a reappearance in Smash Bros. Brawl as an item. Anyways, yeah, we got a Max Tomato and a 1-up. And now we're fighting the mid-boss, Krako Jr. Not much to this boss. I actually don't remember if Krako Jr. this form actually appeared in any other Kirby games afterwards, besides this one, but drops enemies for you to inhale and spit back out, and will drop like a set of cannonballs on you. All the while floating around. Not much to the boss. You can stand in the left corner, you'll be completely fine. The only thing you have to worry about are the enemies. Wha-bam! And Warp Star. Well, yeah, things are going pretty good so far, but... Alright, another mint leaf. Oh, and this room is all... is this the room that I think of? Yep, yeah, right here, yeah, you can just blast right through. And when I mentioned how this game was... yeah, it's simple by design, it's really is approachable, and you can see that. Like, there's a way to get around, like, everything. But it also is plentiful with giving you, like, food, and you kind of had to go out of your way to find 1-ups, but all in all, it's really approachable, and that's is part of the reason why the game was so successful and why it was so much fun. And of course, you get rooms like this where they just nothing. You just get this power, you just blast right through the room. And that's such a fun thing in some of the games when they just give you this, like, hey, just go wild. Although, if we were actually playing on the extra mode, those stars that are falling would actually damage you. And that's gonna be a lot of fun to deal with. Oh, alright. Second to last room, we'll just float right up here, just avoid everything. Not much going on, just really gotta avoid these parasols, but the moon. Usually the moon in the Kirby games is a sign of a secret. So, honestly, I've been so conditioned to the point where I see one, like, okay, I gotta go check on that moon, I might find one. Because hence we are right in another secret room with maximum tomatoes and 1-ups. Although if we're playing the extra mode, there would be Gordos in here too. Alright, here we have boss number 4, Kracko. Definitely a cool looking one. Basically just Kracko Jr. upgraded into a big cloud with spikes now. Has a bit of a new arsenal, has like a big 360 wave beam that can shoot around itself. And it can charge at you too. So yeah, you just gotta be careful. It's, once again, just like the Kracko Jr. fight, you can actually sit in the bottom left corner. And you'll be relatively fine. However, if he does do the beam attack, that will hit you. And actually, Kracko's being quite generous in the pattern it's giving me. Alright, give me some ammunition here, Kracko. There we go, one more hit. And done. That's the 4th magical star. And we dance! Oh, that is so iconic. I really do love that bit, where the music that plays in the scene Kirby dance, but anyway, stage 5, Mount DDD, because King DDD's castle is on top of a mountain when it would no longer be on a mountain in like every game after this. Alright. Of course he has his portraits on the wall. And yeah, I think here we have boss refights. I think this is, what, the only, maybe one of the only Kirby games that actually did this, kind of like in the Mega Man fashion. But we'll just start with Wispy Woods, so it actually has a little screen for you to work through, like a little part of the stage before you get up to the boss. And that is actually quite deceitful right there. You think that wouldn't actually be in the foreground, but it is. But, alright, and for some odd design reason, Kirby has to touch another Kirby, and that destroys the Gordo. And here we are at the boss fight, only without the boss music, which is a bit strange. Alright, Wispy Woods, round 2. You're gonna cry again. Sorry and not sorry. Yeah, shoot your puffs of air, you can't hurt me. 2, and last hit. There we go. And honestly, this is the hardest stage in the game, whether you're playing on the normal mode or the extra mode, because it is literally a boss gauntlet. So I don't think there are any real actual checkpoints until you get up to the DDD fight. So, and there aren't any healing items, so you have to make your hits count, and you gotta make sure you do well enough to avoid enemies too. Alright, Lolo Nalala, round 2. Yeah, they just push their blocks, you just spin them back at them. And 1 down, 1 more to go. Alrighty. And there we go. That's 2 down. And I guess, yep, we'll go after Kabula next. Oh. Avoid the coconuts, because coconuts are dangerous. And now we fall down here, and the Kabu is jumping around, and we have a crab in a shell. Okay, this little segment right here can be so deceiving. And also, these Gordos, if you actually touch them, they are instant kill, I believe. Or they do 3 hits of damage. Something like that. I do know, I think it's actually in the extra game that it is instant kill. I think it's instant kill, and regardless of the mode you're playing in. But anyways, Kabula refight, here we go. And no, this actually is a fun fight. Probably one of my favorite ones in this game, because it's one of those where, oh, I got hit. You line yourself up. Got hit again. And Kabula will charge at you. Oh boy. I may not make it through this without dying. Actually, I wasn't even thinking about that, but I don't know, maybe I'll take an intentional death. Okay, I did not want to float there, but yeah, no, Kabula, it's a fun fight, because it's one of those where you line yourself up just right, and you can just absolutely blast the boss. All the while avoiding the cannon shots. Alright, anyways, here we go. Kracko, round 2. What do you got for me? Okay, you got your charge attack. Cool, you have beams. Come on, Krakow, I need ammunition. Although, when you think about it, the boss is using the right strategy. And that's the thing about being patient. It's right there. This boss, Krakow can catch you off guard right there. He'll drop an enemy, and then you'll want to go in to inhale it and spit it back at him, but then the boss will charge at you. Hit. Look at, oh boy. Yeah, I don't think I'm getting through this without losing a life. Oh. Well, I know, we'll see. Do I dare take on King DDD with just one hit point? I mean, that'd be a challenge right there. Look, at least I'm not in extra mode. That'd be terrible. Oh. Alright, 2 more hits, Krakow. I mean, that is a sound strategy. Don't provide me with ammunition. I'm just stuck here forever. So, frankly, the boss has the right idea. Whether it realizes that or not. Oh, Krakow, come on. Thank you. One more time! No. Please. I am suffering. Why must you do this to me? Krakow. Oh, I'm not falling for that. Oh, boy, yep, that could have been really bad. Oh, okay, take that. Alright, we're at DDD. I mean, I got plenty of lives. I'm not concerned about not being able to beat this. But I got 1 hit. Let's do this. Let's do it. Alright, DDD. Immediately off the start with the jump. Uh-oh. I don't want that. Yeah, we're in a big arena. So DDD is actually quite a deceptive fight. Because he has some attacks are quite the same, and he has a whole variety like in his arsenal of moves. So as you can see, he can inhale you and spit you out. He can run and trip into you. He can come at you with his hammer. He can jump. You can also jump with his hammer, so you definitely don't want that. And he has like a whopping, what is it? 10 hit points. So yeah, definitely just gonna play it safe here. As long as and you can kind of tell like what attack he's gonna go for, because the startup for when he's gonna inhale or when he's gonna trip into you, it's the same. He just runs at you, but you have enough time to really like avoid it. And funny enough, like I remember this fight as a kid. I remember struggling with this because despite like how I said this is an easy game, it actually. One I do remember playing, because I borrowed it from someone who I went to school with, and I was addicted. I couldn't put it down, but I was so determined to like beat this game, and I think I played through it a few times, but I know I struggled. Alright, actually this is going pretty good. I'm getting a pretty good pattern from him. Because I know plenty of times, as you can see like with Krakow, you can just get stuck here for quite a while because they will not provide you with ammunition. And that's just poor RNG right there. Oh. Okay, because I accidentally inhaled. I don't know if it's just the D-pad of my controller or what it is, but... Alright, you got 3 hits left. Any jumps? 2 hits. And you missed. Alright. Jumping again. Oh, I wasn't within range. Okay, here we go. Jumping again. Alright, hammer. And done! King DDD's blasting off for the first time. And we have retrieved all 5 magical sparkling stars. And by the power of the stars, the castle shakes. And Kirby's a big balloon! And he dispenses the food back across Dreamland so nobody has to starve. But we must ask ourselves, was Kirby the hero or the villain the whole time, given how much of a glutton he is for food? No, DDD is the real villain. DDD is the villain. They're both villains, fighting for dominance. But yep, that's Kirby's Dream Land. It's simple, sweet, fun little game. And this was so much fun to play. It's always a nice little classic to come back to, and I always love going back. And even if I play a game that's like later in the series, I always love seeing like where they started and being able to experience those, because it really gives you some insight into like game design and just how much like some of these change. And we get some good music to go with this, but this was a lot of fun. And Kirby's always a good time to Kirby games are always a good time. Like, they're nice to just sit down and play. You don't really have to try too much with it. And they're even better when you have friends. I know that was one of my favorite things about later Kirby games. Like, especially with like Kirby the Amazing Mirror or Kirby Air Ride. Could be having like 4-player multiplayer. Of course, many others. And Kirby deflates and drops while the castle is held in the sky by the stars. And the food keeps falling. Everyone cheers for Kirby. And he pulls out a sign saying bye-bye. So bye-bye indeed, Kirby, but we'll be back for another adventure. And Dedede has somehow wound up in another dimension. And I gotta say, I love the expression on his face. And that's another little thing I love about this, is just how like expressive some of these characters are. Like right here. It's not something you saw too often. Like, damn it! That pink puffball ruined everything! But yeah, this screen just tells us about the extra game you hold. Good job! Press up A and select on the title screen to start a new adventure. Good luck. And good luck indeed, because extra game is not a joke. That will absolutely destroy players if they're going through this for the first time. But alright. That was fun. Short, sweet, simple little adventure. But anyways, next time on Kirby's Dream Land, we'll be back and we'll be taking on Extra Game. And I am probably not going to have a good time. I mean, I will have a good time, but it's going to be hard. But anyways, see you all then.